Hey guys, it's Simon from redlinemotorsport.co.uk. Today we have a set of Corsa Competizioni. This is the Lamborghini Gallardo Rex event, or some people call it the T-Rex. So yeah, I believe we've got 20 odd drivers signed up for this event. So we're at Monza today. So we just got just over 5 minutes of practice, 30 minutes qualify, and then it's a 60-minute race. So it'd be myself, Simon, commentating, and Jake as well. Hello, Jake.
Hi, Simon.
How you doing, mate? You alright?
Oh, good, thanks. You?
Yeah, all good, thank you.
Getting settled in for a good race?
Oh, yes, we'll see. I mean, these cars are definitely a big handful, so it's going to be very interesting to see how well these guys do today.
Yeah, we've seen plenty off so far, just in practice.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So these cars are definitely a handful to drive. So
Good challenge for the drivers.
absolutely, yeah. So let's just see. There we go. So yeah, it looks like we've got 18 drivers in at the moment. So we might get a few more. So we'll just have to see how that plays out.
Might have a few of them practicing on their own. Hopefully you'll join for quali.
Yeah, this is it. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens in a minute. So I'll just bring up the board at the moment. We've got 18 in. So we've got some interesting times there at the moment. So bear in mind there's only a fast track, and obviously once qualifying comes, we should start to see some faster lap times. But yeah, so far, I mean, pretty close considering there's 4 seconds between the leader and last place, so could be in for a pretty interesting race there. I guess it's all down to if they can keep this car on the track for 60 minutes. I mean, that's a challenge on its own.
Yeah, I've seen many drivers making many shapes, coming out of the chicanes trying to get the power down.
This is it, so. So we'll just jump on board with James. He's holding P2 at the moment. So welcome to the stream. Hopefully we get a few more people in a minute.
Yeah, as you say, in the midfield bunch, I'm sort of P5 down to P11. I think like half a second covering sort of 6 drivers. So it's going to be an interesting battle midfield for sure.
Exactly, yeah. So it is going to be very interesting. So we've got just over 2 minutes left of practice, and then we've got a 30 minutes qualify, and then a 60-minute race. So we'll see how this goes at the moment. So there's not much time between James and P1 there at the moment. So literally about just over 1.
Yeah, he's still pushing hard. I just seen him go a little wide coming out of the second Lesmo. He's still trying hard to find more lap time.
This is it, yeah.
Full use of the curbs for Ascari. Oh, I do wonder whether he's still running with a bit of fuel on board. See? Oh, it does show us actually. He's only using 20 litres at the minute.
Oh, that's
So
interesting.
I think he's given it everything at the minute then.
That's it, so. Yeah, welcome to the stream, guys. We'll obviously be... Jake, you like to cover the YouTube chat, and I'll cover the Twitch chat, please, yeah. So yeah, welcome guys to the stream. We are streaming on both platforms, Twitch and YouTube. So if you've got any questions or anything, please obviously post them in the comments, and we're answering when we can. But yeah, we've got just over 1 minute left to practice, and I say we've got 30 minutes to qualify, and then a 60-minute race. So at the moment, James is doing pretty well, holding P2 at the moment. But obviously this is only just practice, so hopefully when the track turns optimal, we should start to see some faster times. So maybe breaking into the low 148s, maybe even a 147, high 147. So let's see how that goes. But from our calculations, normally, rip that £5. Oh yeah. If anyone's just interested in what's going on there, basically, Frosty Bird, I said to him, if he continues the race and doesn't crash for 60 minutes, I'll give him a fiver. But it looks like his PC's died, so he's lost a fiver.
He didn't even get in the qualifying.
By the sounds of it. Oh dear. So we've got 4 minutes. Or just over 4 minutes to wait, but if everyone goes into pits, then it should change over to the next session pretty quickly.
Notice Louis doing well in only 7/10 off the fastest guys at the minute. Doing quite well since he hasn't had the game for long.
Yeah, that's very true actually. Yeah, he's done very well so far. So P4 at the moment for him, Louis. So that is pretty interesting. Just jump on board with Emmanuel for a bit. There's looks like about 3 or 4 people's out at the moment. So yeah, as soon as these guys finish this lap, that should send them back to pits, and then qualify should start. So answer your question there, Frosty Bird. Even if it was to give you a new PC instead of a fiver, I mean, how are you going to call your PC if you've got no thermal paste between your CPU and fan, mate? That's the reason why it's shutting down. Oh dear. But anyway. So just Emmanuel, we've got John Preacher at the moment. So he's just coming into pits. So let's say everyone's in the pits. So this looks like we'll be starting qualifying now. So let's
here we go.
Yeah, let's see who's going to come out of the pits first.
James is straight on it. First man out.
So he obviously wants a nice clean field then if he's straight out.
Yeah, got Louis behind him. I noticed Louis has been quite close to James on track. He's benefiting from following one of the experienced drivers for a bit. James being one of the esports drivers.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so yeah, James is one of our esports drivers. So we obviously expect him to do well tonight. So not too much pressure there, James. So yeah, we've got a few fast guys in here tonight, so we should be in for quite a good race right across the field from looking at the times in the practice. You can just see that Louis is there just behind. So just
a few new names as well.
Sorry, what was that, mate?
A few new names as well.
That's it. Yeah. Welcome, Tony, to the chat. How you doing? So I'd just like to say is obviously we've got a new website up, so do check it out, guys. That's www.redlinemotorsport.co.uk. So yeah, we've got a brand new website, so you can actually register for all our races on there now. So literally 3 clicks and you're signed up to a race. So yeah, we've got all sorts of races on at the moment, from rookie classes to pro classes. So it'll be pretty good if you want to get some experience as well. Obviously, some of the pro drivers are there to help teach some of you guys if you're new to sim racing, so which is quite nice of them to dedicate some of their time to do that. So thanks for the follow there, mate, really appreciate that. So I'll also say as well, Sunday I'm going to be live commentating an official race room esports event. Well, say event, it's actually a championship, so I'll be doing that on Sunday. That would be from about 4:45 p.m. UK time. So do check that stream out, because this is obviously a proper esports event with Race Room. They're really good to watch. So we're going to take an onboard view with James at the moment and just see how he gets on as he's on his first hot lap. So yeah, just from watching James on board view, I'll give you some ideas about his braking zones and stuff. Like I said, this is one of our esports drivers, so you can sort of learn his lines from this and take it away and get your times up to the times that these guys get.
That'd be interesting to see what sort of time he sets for everyone else.
This is it. So yeah, the track's still showing fast at the moment. So I imagine from previous races we've done, the track normally gets optimal about 11 minutes left of the qualifying. So this is where the leaderboard will change quite a lot. So we'll just see what happens here. We've got, looks like there's about 4 people in a row behind James here at the moment. So times should be getting interested in a minute once he starts to come over the start finish line. So I'll jump back to normal TV cam for a minute. So James managed a 150.1, so he's 8 tenths off his fastest time in the practice so far, but obviously that's his first hot lap, so it's usually the second hot lap should be the faster one.
Louis done a good job. His first lap was a 50 dead, I believe.
That's it, yeah. So at the moment, David Santos has managed to 150 almost dead. Louis at the moment is managed to 150 almost dead as well. So hardly anything between the first 3 at the moment. Less than 1/10. So like I said, obviously this is just their first out lap. So hopefully we'll start to see some interesting results. Like I said, once we get
good lap by Louis. So about half second faster than he managed during practice.
That's it. So we'll see how he gets on later on. Like I said, once the qualifying the track conditions change to optimal, we should start to see, like I said, guys breaking obviously the 148s and maybe even down to a high 147. So conditions are perfect for it. So will be interesting.
Yeah.
But I will say the race is actually set to start at 10 AM in the game, and it's 10 times the time progression. So they will finish racing into the late evening. So it should finish around 8 PM ish for them in the game. So we should have some quite interesting changes there in the weather and stuff. So that's if the game has played to the settings I put into it. We'll see. So a few more guys have got their times at the moment, but David Santos is the one that's holding pole at the moment, with Louis second and James P3. Just bear with me a second.
I'm surprised to still see Proetti in the pits, as he was leading the timesheet during practice. Whether he's just saving him it's optimal.
Yeah, quite possibly. Or he might be one of these that just... yeah, he's sat in the pits at the moment. He might be one of these that goes out at the last minute and sets a lap time. So we'll be interested to see what he does.
Yeah. Just see Nellis is now going up for the first time as well.
That's it. Well, Andre's just managed to take a good time there. He's managed to 149.4.
Very nice lap.
So I said in the practice earlier on the fast laps, the fastest time was a 149.2. James is a 149.3. So this is going to be pretty good once they start to get the a few more laps in. and things will start to change, so especially for the last 11 minutes of qualifying when it should change to optimal track conditions.
Yeah, for sure. You may have had a few drivers sandbagging, holding their times back for quali. Do you see a few drivers do?
This is it. I mean, this is where if you look at Louis, he's trying a bit clever here, so hopefully he'll try and get a bit of a I would say he was going to get a toe off Andre, but Andre's just pulled over, so maybe he's like, nope, you're not getting a toe off me to get a few more temps.
Well, you've got to use everything you can to your advantage if you can.
That's it, yeah. So Hampus, he's
Nothing
a new
wrong
driver
with...
to us. He's just signed up, so a new driver to us. So it'll be interesting to see how he does in this race. So fastest lap time is a 151.9, so should keep him pretty busy about mid-pack with a couple of other AM drivers. So it looks like Louis should be on a faster lap now, so we'll jump on board with him for a minute. Just see if he improves. So it'll be interesting if he does get himself under the 150 and try and get a 149. So it looks like Frosty Bird's going to go and watch some Harry Potter movies. Fair enough.
Time would be better spent watching the race.
This is it, yeah, exactly. So just see what's happening. Nothing's changed yet in times at the moment.
Peretti has gone out on the track now, so he'll be coming around the start. His first line lap. Interesting to see what he manages on his first lap.
Absolutely, yeah. So we'll see what he does there. So Louis about half a tenth down from his last time. That's a bit unfortunate. So he is trying hard there to try and get some faster times in. So, yeah, morning Azza. It is a morning for you over in New Zealand. So, night time here, obviously, in the UK. So, Emmanuel, he's been racing with us for a little while now. He's been a pretty a good, consistent racer. So hopefully he can get some more time, because he normally races with this car. I believe it's actually no, I think it's Jose actually who races that car. Looks like one of the guys has just gone off there.
Yes, it was Jose.
Yeah, so like I said, these cars are very challenging to drive. You've got to really get your setup dialed in and just be very gentle with your inputs, so because it will bite back, hence the name T-Rex. So Matteo is a new guy as well to us. So he races for N2O. So we know that he's some of those guys are pretty fast. So it'll be interesting to see what he does, because if he's anything like Alberto who races for him, he could be one to be dominating this this race. So yeah, definitely want to keep an eye out. So it looks like Reese has just managed to grab P6. So see if he can make an improvement as he comes around the last corner.
Pro 82, he's now about to cross the line. His first straight in the pole, provisional pole, the 49.3. Very close to the other guys. Nothing in it at the
So
middle.
we just, yeah, unfortunately we just missed that because we're just on board with De Reese, but yeah, He's just managed to bring himself down to 149.3. As I said in practice, the guys with the fast track, they managed to 149.2. So not the fastest time we've seen yet. But like I said, once we come to another sort of 6 minutes or so, we should see the track conditions change to optimal. And then, like I said, hopefully we might see some 148s and maybe a high 147. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, they've been gaining a good second with the change from fast to optimal, so it could well see a 47.
Yeah, like I said, we have seen this in one of our championship races at Monza that the guys have managed to break the high 147, so it is possible. So as he's on a fast lap, we'll jump on board with him for a minute. So he comes around to parabolic. Hopefully this car in front won't cause too much of an issue. See if we can improve on his time. So which he has done. So he's managed a 148.9. So that's 4/10 up than his fastest. So that's the fastest lap we've seen so far since practice and qualifying. So currently holding.
That's without the optimal track conditions.
This is exactly without the optimal. So this is going to be very interesting to see how this plans out with the rest of the guys in this race at the moment. So at the moment he's leading by almost 5/10 right now off of Andre. So everyone's slowly get their lap times in. So as you can see, it's pretty close together in its own groups. So looking at the top 9 so far, all within 2.5 seconds from the leader. Oh, well, that's 2 seconds from the leader, and then from like P10 down to P15 or so, about 2-3 seconds between those guys. So yeah, we should be in for a pretty good race right across the grid. So that's, bear in mind, we have got a full formation lap. So fingers crossed, T1 at Monza is guaranteed for accidents. So we touch wood that the formation lap will play well and we won't see too much carnage at T1. So fingers crossed.
Touch wood. Touch wood.
Apparently these are professionals, but even professionals get it wrong.
Just been checking through the grid at all. They got quite a few guys with custom liveries in today. I think though the medal has to go to James Parker, in my opinion. Don't know about you, Simon.
Yeah, I definitely think James Parker's definitely got the nicest livery, I think. So yeah, about 10 drivers gave me custom liveries that I put on the server for him. So yeah,
some interesting ones. That won't help him go any faster, but
but it's always nice to have a mixed grid of different liveries rather than just the stock ones. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So give Nico a bit of a screen time at the moment. So Emmanuel's now managed to grab P3 so far. So he's managed to 149.6. which has now put David Santos down to P4 at the moment. So James is now P5. So this is going to be a pretty interesting race once, I said, the track turns optimal soon. So hopefully in the next couple of minutes we'll see that. And then we might see some pretty fast lap times. So
I mean, six drivers already in the 49s is amazing times.
Absolutely, especially these cars, you got to be so gentle, with your inputs, because the slightest mistake is going to throw you off track. So Mark Brown, sure. He's one of our long-time members. He's been racing us quite a while now, so always keen to jump in our races. jump on board with Ray for a minute. Ray Taylor, he's managed a... it's going to be interesting now. So he's also running a custom skin. So his fastest time is a 1:52.3 at the moment. But yeah, just do keep an eye on the track conditions. So they should start to change at some point to optimal, and then, like I said, we'll jump back onto the front runners. And because obviously at the moment some of the front runners are in the pits right now, so they're probably just doing some fine tuning. And imagine they'll be back out in a minute to set some faster lap times. So with Valerio for a minute, he's managed to 152.4. So there's plenty of time to improve at the moment, but he's doing pretty well with the same sort of pack. So there's about 4 at the moment running in the 152s, so they should have a good battle between them. Looking quite good so far. Jump on board with Harry for a bit. So Harry's done a race or 2 with us at the moment, so we're just going to see how well he does. So top 10 at the moment, so 151.2. It's not too bad. Yeah, that's one thing about these cars. When you actually do drive them, they do sound pretty awesome. So awesome noises these cars make. So track's still showing fast. So is it going to change to optimal? Oh, we just have a big crash there from Harry. Takes out another guy, unfortunately.
Just say a hi to the guys watching on you.
That's it, yeah. So at the moment,
Azza and Otanas have just joined us for you.
So welcome, guys, yeah. So track still
I would
showing fast.
reply to you, but it's error in every message I type, which is helpful.
Is it erroring with what's that on YouTube?
Yes, so when I went to reply to them, it just keeps coming up with an error.
Oh, okay. Maybe just refresh the page or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, still interesting. The track is still showing fast. Normally it changes around sort of the 10-minute mark, so this is very interesting.
Could see it change in the last few minutes, and
this is
everyone out with a mad dash could really spice things up a little bit.
Exactly, yeah. So it could be the last few minutes. So just keep an eye on that, guys, because we never know.
The last guy crossing the line on the last lap might get the fastest lap.
This is it.
Oh, Louis made a little mistake coming at the first chicane.
That's it. So this is what we're about James's custom skin for his car. So yeah, definitely standing out from the rest. So he pretty much runs that sort of skin for most of his cars. Most of the races he races in, so pretty good. So just over 8 minutes to go until the end of qualifying. Like I said, track's still showing fast at the moment. So it looks like James has just improved on this time. So he's managed fast lap now is a 1:49.3, which has put him in P2. So that's improved from P5 to P2. So we've done pretty well there. So still over 4 tenths off pole at the moment. Good jump on with David Santos. He's just gone over the start finish line. So yeah,
another small improvement by James.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Still
Davis,
fine a little bit by a little bit.
yeah, so Davis just made an improvement. So he's managed to 149.5, has put him up to P4. But again, like I said, the track's still showing fast. So is it going to change in the next 7 minutes? So Louis now running P6, so he's doing pretty well with this car. So bearing in mind he's not had the game very long, and he's jumped straight into this, and he's getting some pretty good times. So fastest time of so far is a 149.9, so he's doing pretty well. Track's still showing fast at the moment.
Yeah, I can't remember seeing it change this late before.
No, this is it. But then if you look at the ambient temperatures are 34 degrees. Track temp's 41. So anything can happen.
Yeah, that's gone up a bit from the start, hasn't it? Just at 1 degree.
Yeah, because if I believe so,
we're at 33.
That's it. So just gonna keep an eye and just see if that does actually change to optimal. Otherwise, I don't think there is going to be much more time out of these cars with the conditions how they are at the moment. So, but still, staggering times 148.9 from the leader. So James has made a bit more of an improvement. He's now he's now 3 tenths down. He was just over 4 tenths down a minute ago, so he's improving. So he's definitely finding the extra times where he can. So, oh, looks like someone else has gone off in the chicane there, of T1. So we're on board with Tiago at the moment. So
yeah, they're really pushing what's possible at the minute with those conditions.
This is
There's still no change over top.
Few people in the pits at the moment, so it's going to be interesting to see if it does change to optimal. Because if it do, then like I said, I think this can really turn things up. So they've literally got 5 minutes left. Just about 5 minutes left to for this to obviously change.
Yeah, they're going to want to be on track now, just in case it does.
This is it.
Otherwise, they won't have enough time to get out and put a lap in.
Absolutely. So, welcome to the chats, guys. Too hot to be optimal. Yeah, I think this is the case, isn't it? It is too hot to be optimal. So, but still, at the moment, times are pretty close altogether with the top 3 there, with 5 tenths between the top 3 and pole. So pretty awesome so far. If the track stay this hot for because it's going to be interesting as well, because with the race it's going to start 10 a.m. in the game, so the temperatures ain't going to be as hot. We've got it set at times 10 multiplier, so it should finish about 8 p.m. in the game. So obviously temperatures should start to obviously rise and fall over that duration, which is obviously going to play around with their tyre pressures a lot. So they're going to have to really work out their setup and sort of stick to a medium with the tyre pressures.
Yeah, that'll be quite a temperature change. Also with the track, with a lot of long straights, it's never easy to get a perfect temperature anyway.
That's it. So I appreciate the information there for us. So yeah, so he's saying basically if it goes over 30 degrees, very rarely it goes optimal. So if we're at 34 degrees, it don't look like we're going to change to optimal conditions.
That's interesting to know.
So yeah, appreciate that. Not much improvement at the moment. Times are still staying where they are. Just jump on board with Harry for a bit. So I'll just bring up the board again. We've got just 3 minutes left, but as you can see, not much has changed now. So I think these guys are pretty much set in their positions. I mean, we see that James is making improvements on every lap he's doing at the moment. So whether he can actually find another 3 tenths or even 4 attempts to take pole, he's got a lot of work to try and figure out where he can actually find that extra bit of time. But it looks like James is in the pit, so maybe he's obviously happy to take P2 at the moment. So, but there is 2 minutes 40, so if he does get out, he could technically do a lap and finish this second one. So David is now. So we just had a change there because David was P4. So now David Santos has now managed to grab P1 there at the last 2 minutes. So he's now managed to 148.9. So that's just made a big change there. So he went from P5 to P1 there. So if you look at that, that's 0.02 of a second off of P2 now. So that's an incredible change there just at the last minute.
Is Priority going to be able to respond to that? Has he got time to respond?
That's it. I mean, we're coming down to
get
1
one
minute 45,
chance.
so I mean, if he's out on track now, which he is, I've just seen where he is, so he's coming down. He's just gone through Ascari, so we'll have to see, because his last lap was a 2:22, so he's definitely on a hot lap now. And he has got time to do another one. So we'll jump on board with him for a minute. Just see if he makes an improvement. But what we'll do is while we're on board, we will just keep an eye on the board to see what's happening. So it looks like Emmanuel's managed to grab P3 now, so he's improved a bit more, which is now put James Parker down to P4. So he was P2 earlier, literally a minute ago, and he's just dropped down to P4. So this is where it's getting very interesting for the last minute or so of qualifying. So a nice bit of debris there after T1.
That's the time to put your best laps in, right at the end. Maybe he's been saving it all along.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see that flawless regarding the tyres. Obviously, I haven't done much. Or should I say, many experiments at the moment regarding tyres and the new tyre module. So that would be interesting to see. So just show you the times at the moment while we just stay on board with this guy for the moment.
No more laps for Louis. He's just lost it in the Ascari chicane. Pushing hard to try and find that. Just another 10th or 2, but he's done well. P6.
This is it. So I mean,
pushes him down.
At the moment, it's just we've got Andre out at the moment, who's P5. We've got James Parker and Emmanuel and David Santos all in the pits. So we might see a change if Andre manages to get a good time. It's in P5 at the moment. But we'll stay on board with P2 for the moment and see how he does. It looks like he's only managed to 149.3, so he is 4 attempts off his time there. So Andre's already dropped into the pits, so he's still holding P5. So we have got a little bit of overtime here, so they've literally got the last lap they can complete. So a couple of guys out at the moment. We've got Harry out and Matteo at the moment. So it looks like one of the drivers is a bit ill today, as he's just posted in the chat, so see how he does. So there we are, so that's the end of qualifying then, by the looks of it. So there's your time. So David's managed to get P1. So some awesome racing there from these guys. We'll jump into helicam.
Yeah, it's an incredible lap.
So yeah, so this is a full formation lap. So the guys should be getting into single file, spreading themselves apart, and then we should be able to start weaving, warming up the tyres, the brakes. Not that they actually need warming up considering it's 34 degrees. Yeah, that's interesting. So yeah, appreciate that, Flawless. Appreciate that. That would be good to know. I'll get some feedback from the guys later after the race and see what they have to say regarding the conditions. Because like I said, it's very hot, 34 degrees in Monza. So, Jake, what's your thoughts on who do you think is going to end up taking the pole today?
It'd be hard pressed to bet against someone like James because he's got good consistency over race distance.
Yes,
But some of the drivers, they're new names to me, so
this is it. Yeah, we've got a couple of new guys.
Can't count some of them out. Especially with the Rex being such an animal, any one of the drivers could easily make a mistake. So
well, this is it. It's a 60-minute race.
Interesting race. Yeah, indeed.
So they could obviously make it. Obviously, you got 60 minutes plus obviously the formation lap as well. So yeah, you might find that they're, especially with the tyre temperatures, the track temperatures as well at the moment, they might have to be forced to have a pit at some point if they don't look after their tyres. So this would be interesting. So,
that's an interesting thought. I mean, most of the drivers won't have done a race distance in this car yet.
That's it. So yeah, welcome to the chat. Appreciate that. Hello. So yeah, guys, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us. We are streaming to YouTube and Twitch. So yeah, Jake there will be watching over the YouTube chat, and I'm watching over the Twitch chat. So yeah, any questions, and do obviously post them, and we're trying to reply when we can. But anyway, yeah. Also, stay tuned for Sunday, because Sunday we have we will be streaming and commentating on Race Room's official esports race. So we'll be doing server 2, as Race Room will be covering server 1. So yeah, do check it out. That's the esports WTCR for Race Room. So that'd be pretty good to watch. So yeah, do follow us and watch that. So that would be at 4:45 PM UK time. So yeah, pretty good. So still a minute to go. So they're probably just finalising their setups, checking the amount of fuel they're going to use.
Plenty of time for the nerves to settle in.
Absolutely. So this is interesting as well, because I set the time of day to start at 10 AM, and the time of day is 2:22. So this is set at times 10. Then this is going to be an interesting race, because it looks like it's going to finish at midnight. So we could be in for an interesting race.
Hopefully they've all got lights.
It looks like it. I imagine, I think half of them have actually got the endurance lights on them, so this will be fun.
Like driving this car, they turned up for a challenge and they're going to get one.
Oh, that's a shame.
Here we go.
There we go. So they're off. So they'll be getting into single file. So yeah, so David Santos, he's been racing us for a little while now. So he does have really good consistency. So as long as I'm just actually watching the track, the ambient temperature. The ambient temperature now dropped to 33, so it's dropped 1 degree. So track temps might start to cool off. So we might actually see people start to become faster later on through the race as temperatures cool. And as you say, the grip level should come up, because at the moment you see the track conditions are still set to fast, so it's definitely not optimal. So this will be interesting.
Yeah, that's a good point. Also, with them burning fuel up.
This is it, yeah. So this is where they obviously got to understand that they have to obviously allow for the formation lap, the extra fuel. So I do remember we did first start running off with full formation laps. Some people were literally like crawling over the finish line with fumes left in the tank. So nothing worse than actually finishing just shy of the finish line when you run out of fuel.
Yeah, we definitely had a few of the cars consuming a little bit more fuel than others as well.
This is it. So yeah, looking nice and clean so far down the grid, and I just literally jump onto Merrimack there, and he ends up going off track. So we jump.
I'll thank you for that.
Well, if he's going off track during the formation lap, then there's he needs to question: is he well enough to race? As he's just
calm it down a little.
Well, this is it. He said he's sick today, so if he's feeling sick, let's hope he doesn't end up ruining anyone's race today. So far so good. All nice and clean. Everyone's behaving. So the moment of truth is when we come around the last corner, when we get up to the start-finish line, and it's go, 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 is what's going to happen at T1. So, because typical of Monza, like I said, no matter how good you are, unfortunately some people do miss their braking points, and there could be accidents. So fingers crossed and touch wood that don't happen. So we have got some pretty fast drivers and some pro drivers up front, but like I said, even the pros get it wrong, as we see on TV quite a lot.
Hopefully they'll be able to get a little bit of heat in the brakes on the.
This is it. So yeah, track temperature still holding 33 at the moment as it comes up to 3 p.m. So technically we could be going into 1 a.m. in the morning, if not a little bit later, looking at the time so far. No, there's not 4 setups. They're all got their own setups here. So yeah, it's all open setups. Customs. Yeah, we don't really. I know some people like to run with fixed setups. You know, other communities and stuff. I mean, because obviously they want to keep it sort of close racing. I mean, a day, you know, in real life, you know, they set up the cars how they want. So, and obviously we allow that here in Red Line.
Thing is, with ACC, they've done a great job on the sort of custom default setups that you get with each car, and they are very, very.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, even some of our fastest guys here literally don't really change much from the aggressive setups from when I've been talking to them. So if they're not changing too much from the aggressive setups, it means they're obviously doing pretty well, like I said, with the stock setups. I mean, the main thing you've got to manage is obviously the conditions and setting, you're changing your tyres and camber and stuff depending on the given conditions, and trying to keep those tyre temperatures optimal. So Merrimack is making me sort of worry as he keeps going up the arse of someone there at the back. So let's hope he doesn't end up wrecking someone's race at the end. Oh, well, sorry, T1.
Green light, go,
So looks like the
Here
race
we
is
go.
off now. So David Santos is taking the lead at the moment. James has now pulled himself up to P3. He's blocking the guy behind, so he's keeping P3. Edging ahead to take P2, but he's braking early. Got the inside line, but we've got a cheeky one there. What? That's very naughty there. I don't know why he's done that.
Inside.
That was a very cheeky manoeuvre there. We don't generally allow that to happen in our races. We know we're not playing Forza. We don't expect people to just literally use other cars as a wall to get round corners, because that's just cheating in our eyes.
So far, though, everyone has survived and is still going on track.
They sure have, but the thing is with this now is P1's got quite a lead at the moment, so 1.6 seconds up because of that incident. So that's a shame, because now this guy, if he carries on and holds this his consistency up, as he's now 2 seconds up at the moment, has been a bit of an unfair advantage with what one of the other the guys just did by taking James out. So,
Yeah, for sure, that's not needed.
Yeah, but James now is in P2 at the moment, and the same with the lead. I mean, David Santos is now down to P4, so he was running P1 at the moment, so he's now down to P4. So I'll just double check to see. So Mehmet looks like he's behaved. I don't think he's got damage at the moment. So hopefully he didn't end up crashing someone out. But we will check the replay later. So jump back on with James at the moment. But it looks like P1's getting quite a lead already. 2.5 seconds off at the moment. So James has got to really work hard now to try and close that gap. So Louis is now holding P3. Got David in P4 at the moment. Reese is rolling P5, so we're just watching as we come down to T1 again. So everyone is nice and early on the brakes there. So no carnage so far. So to be honest, it's been pretty clean really, apart from that one guy. But I wouldn't say it was too bad. A bit of a dive bomb, but generally it wasn't a massive carnage, was it? With multiple cars at T1. So pretty impressed with that really.
Hopefully no one received any damage and they'll at least be able to continue with the race.
This is it. So we'll take some more TV cams now. So looks like the race is going to be between James and Louis and David Santos there, as they're all pretty close together. And you've got Reese there in the background. So yeah, we've got quite a few guys here, but the leader at the moment, 3.5 seconds off already. So a bit of a shame, because I mean, it'd probably been a different ball game if the guys did have more of a battle for P1 or against P1. So then he wouldn't be getting away so fast.
No, that allows him to sort of gain his own rhythm, because he's not been attacked straight off the bat, which does change how the race sort of definitely towards the start.
This is it, yeah, exactly. So Nick Deedy's now managed to put himself up to P10, so he's doing pretty well at the moment. He's putting the pressure on Tiago in front. It's going to get a bit confusing with all these red liveries.
I was going to say, we've got a nice little bunch of red Rexes.
Red ones, yeah, wait, that's it. Anyone would think it was a Ferrari event.
So settling down a little bit now.
Yeah, the battle is going on at the moment between Nick and Tiago. So Nick's just tucked back in as they come up to T1. So rightly done there, really. So we'll try again in a minute. As it looks like he gets a bit of a better exit there. So he's going to get the toe and hopefully make an overtake. But he gets blocked. He comes around the outside, but I don't think he's got enough to make a move come the second chicane. So yeah, welcome to the chat, guys. So yeah, good driving there from Nick at the moment. Very composed. He doesn't want to try and force a mistake. So we're only obviously at the start of the race now. 55 minutes to go. So as I said, they wanted to.
Yeah, he's already made a good start to his race, made up a couple of positions. Hopefully he can chip away and get a few more over the next few laps.
So it looks like James has now dropped back to P4. Louis taken P2. Dave is now P3. So it looks like James must have made a mistake or something, and he's lost quite a few positions. So he's got a bit of a fight going on with Reese coming down his inside. Oh, sorry, it was outside. The camera just changed then, made it look a bit weird. So James is keeping the inside lane, so he's going to keep his position, P5 at the moment. Sorry, P4. So this will get interesting because Reese has now got the inside line, but now James is trying to pull back out. He tucked in to get a bit of a toe, but he's done a bit of contact there. It's taking the things out. That's a big accident there. Maybe that was James' fault for tucking back in there because he didn't allow time for the guy behind to brake, and obviously that's caused a bit of a crash there. So that is very unlucky there. So not a very good move for James to cut into someone's braking zone like that. I know he was trying to keep the time going between them, and but unfortunately that's obviously what's caused a big problem at T1.
Yeah, the driver behind would have been break into the gap behind Reese. It's a risk to a pull.
This is it. So it looks like Louis coming up on a back marker by the looks of it. So that's Andre there. So that's Andre as a back marker, and Louis just coming up onto the back marker here. So it looks like Andre must have had a bit of a bad start, because if he's running back of the pack and almost being lapped now by the front runners. So it looks like Nick Deedy's now managed to jump from P10 up to P7, so he's progressing well. So Tiego's still P6. There's still a battle going on between Nick and Tiago. Just jump over to Matteo. So James Parker's now down to P11, unfortunately for accident, as he's just had no more contact there. So someone's just hit the back of him and sent him off into the wall. So this is definitely not James's race today, unfortunately. Unfortunately, because this is obviously an event and not a championship, we don't give points or anything to the guys. But generally, if it was a championship and obviously all these accidents are going on, then these guys would be pretty much disqualified after the first race, because obviously we do promote clean racing and expect the drivers to not be too aggressive with each other. So we don't mind a little bit of door-to-door contact, but when it comes to full on hitting someone and taking them out, then that's a big no-no for them from here.
There's just been a little bit of contact between 6, 7 and 8. One coming out of the first chicane lit it totally sideways, and everyone got a little bit of contact, but they all managed to keep going in the right direction. It's to be expected though with this car. It can be quite a handful coming off the slow corners, and even the best drivers have been struggling, as we've seen.
This is it. Louis, how the hell are you typing and chatting while holding P2? What are you doing? So Louis in our chat at the moment. Ali's obviously holding P2 right now, so he needs to knuckle down and concentrate. So yeah, it looks like Louis managed to do pretty well since he's just jumped into this car, and he's maintaining P2 pretty well. So Nick Dealey closing that gap again on Tiago, so there's definitely a good battle between these guys at the moment. Very consistent with keeping about sort of 0.5 seconds between them at certain points. We'll just jump up in front with Reese, because he's closing the gap here with Emmanuel, who's holding P5 at the moment. So yeah, sorry, I didn't realise you followed us there. So thank you for following us, Flores. Yeah, unfortunately, James, we did see that. So Jimmy P is actually James Parker in the race. Couple of mishaps there, unfortunately, we caught. So yeah, I don't know what happened with the guy in T1 on lap 1 with you there, James, but it was very naughty what he did, trying to cut the corner and then take you out almost. Oh, so there was no contact between you then, it was just literally a case of you just put too much power down and then just, yeah. Such a shame, unfortunately. But as we say, Louis at the moment, he's doing very well. He's got David putting the pressure on him, so as we say, a few minutes ago, Louis was there just messaging in the chat whilst racing for P2. So he needs to concentrate as David is closing the gap on him. So he's going to have to start driving a bit defensively now. So as he lost it, yeah, no. That's a shame, James, unfortunately. That's how racing goes. Unfortunately, you know, we obviously see it and we obviously feel your pain, especially how well you did in the qualifying.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so temperatures dropped to 32. Track's obviously turned to optimal now. So Reese is behind Emmanuel trying to close the gap. So Reese is doing pretty well in this race at the moment, up to P5, up to P6 at the moment.
Yeah, he's the leader of the bunch of red Rexes that we have from P6.
Unfortunately, James, I didn't catch who it was. Because when you cut back in behind...
Good battle going on for P8.
Yeah, I'm just watching these guys at the moment, sorry. So, Reese has just managed to grab P5 off Manuel there, so he was very ambitious coming through Ascari. I'm sorry, I need to take some drink of water because my throat's getting dry.
Just seen a pass. P9 has moved. P10 has moved up to P9. Macassi.
So Hampus has managed to take it, has he?
He has indeed.
Excellent. So yeah, Reese doing so pretty well at the moment. Holding P5. So I'm not sure what's happened to Dave because the gap's now opened up. So Louis now 5 seconds ahead of David. So whether David made a bit of a mistake or something, I don't know. But Louis storming ahead at the moment, so he's quite comfortable at the moment, holding P2. So P1 looking about 10 seconds ahead of Louis at the moment.
It's been a rather stable gap over the last 4 or 5 laps.
This is it. So like I was saying, if what happened in T1 didn't happen, there would be more of a battle going on now between P1 and 2. But unfortunately, this is what happens.
Yeah, it's allowed him to get into a rhythm without anyone pressurising.
Looks like Louis might have underfueled. So Louis, obviously, if you're watching the stream whilst racing, mate, I personally would look to change your engine map, drop it down, and try and save some fuel for the race if you don't want to pit. That's the only advice I can give you. But the thing is, you change your engine map, you're going to lose power, and the chances are David's going to start closing that gap on you pretty quick.
Whether he can be smart and lower it through the sectors that might not make quite a difference and put it back onto the quick one for the straight.
Yeah, there's that as well. So Louis, if you haven't set like a rotary switch or something for your engine maps, then then yeah, there's not much you can do apart from pit. So that's a bit of a shame now, because if Louis might not be holding P2 much longer if he's underfueled.
I know.
So,
the deal is, we're going to go for P5 here.
Yeah, it's a bit of a battle going on at the moment. So that's Nick Dealey trying to close the gap on Emmanuel. So Nick's managed to get past Diego, holding P7 at the moment. So he's putting pressure on Emmanuel at the moment. So he's slowly coming up the pack.
Now Reese has gone wide and he's going to lose a whole handful of position.
He has, yeah. That's a shame there. So just jump on board with Reese there as he's having quite a big issue there trying to get the car on track. Oh, someone's just gone off. So I don't know who that was.
That's the same issue.
That was Diego that's just gone off into the wall. So he was having a bit of a moment there. So like I said, these cars, they will bite you back if you overdrive them. You know, you have to be very, very smooth on the inputs. So Nick Dealey
the
is
biggest gainer at the minute is
putting
Nick.
the pressure on, isn't he? So we'll jump on board with Nick for a minute to see if he does manage to make a move.
He qualified it down in, was it P12?
Yeah, I think it was
a brilliant job so far. Move up
low. So yeah, he's up to P6 at the moment, so he's doing pretty well. So he's getting a nice toe on the straight there. So he tucks back in behind. So he's keeping very composed, isn't he? So he gets a better exit. So the chance is he going to get it down to T for the second chicane. So Emmanuel is trying to drive defensively, holding the inside line here, but if Nick can obviously take looks like he has to yield a bit then, tuck back in behind. So nicely done, but it looks like Emmanuel's made a big mistake, so it looks like Nick's now managed to grab that position off him. So obviously Emmanuel was obviously feeling the pressure there. So that's some pretty awesome driving by Nick Dealey. So yeah, going back to your comment there, James. Yeah, I believe it was. Yeah, you was fighting Reese, weren't you? But as you come up the T1, you tucked in behind, and there wasn't much room with the car behind you in the white. Using the white one there, I believe. Is that Hampers?
It's a Bacassi.
Yeah, Matteo. So yeah, you pulled in just behind in the braking zone. Unfortunately, he had nowhere to go and made contact with you there, James. And yeah, that was that accident, unfortunately. So there's been some awesome driving by Nick, hasn't he? So started with that P12, he's now down to P5. So he's got
interesting to see if he can pull away from Angelo now.
So Louis now down to P4 because Louis in the pits because he didn't fuel, so that's going to be a big kick in the teeth there. So unfortunately he's going to lose a lot of time as he refuels.
Looks like Reese has managed to recover from his little off-track excursion. He's got back on this. Could be a four-way battle here for people. Interesting to see if he can make his way back up the order because he seemed like he had the pace.
This is it. So it's pretty much changed. So now Harry's holding P3 now. David Santos in P2. And Giacomo's in P1 at the moment, so doing pretty well. So P1's now managed to take do the fastest lap of the race so far, 1:49.2. With David Santos taking the second fastest lap with a 1:50.5. So, and as he's just beaten his time again, it's now 1:49.1. So he's already 1.5 seconds faster than the fastest current lap. So, Louis, as you're in chat, are you refueling or are you giving up? Because there's still, you can still make some good positions if you're still in it. So he's still in the pits at the moment, so I don't know if he's actually, we'll find out in a minute once he messages in chat. So some pretty good racing going on between these four as they're starting to close the gap there.
Yeah, Angelo hasn't let Nick away.
He hasn't, has
he? To keep that gap under a second.
So this is where it's going to get interesting because So originally planned this race to start at 10 a.m. and finish about 8 p.m. at night, but somehow the game decided to start it at like 2 p.m. So these guys are going to be sort of racing to about sort of just after midnight, maybe even 1 a.m. So it's going to be a bit of a big change coming later on when it starts to go dark. So track temps are falling now, so it's 4 degrees it's dropped from the start of the race. So Manuel's putting the pressure on again with Nick Dealey. But Nick
His
Dealey's
turn
like,
to see if he can put the pressure on and force Nick into a mistake.
That's it, but to be honest, Nick's been very composed in this race. He's not...
he has indeed.
Exactly, he's not pushing too hard in regards to, you know, forcing a mistake.
Angelo's having to try and attack and defend at the same time. He may well lose out to Picasso.
This is it.
This would be good for Nick because it's going to give him a bit of breathing space.
He is going to get a toe up the pitch straight at the moment, so... But Manuel's going to basically hold the inside line into T1. So this is where Manuel... Oh, he's obviously locked up, made a mistake, but lucky enough he didn't cause a collision there. So
found the gap there
Manuel's
rather luckily.
now dropped back to P6. So even P7 now, so he's now dropped back to P7 unfortunately. So a little mistake there, just couldn't get off the brakes quick enough, and unfortunately they locked up and he had nowhere to go but to go straight, and lucky enough Picasso could get out of the way.
Yeah, must have been a bit of a frightening for Nick. Probably saw that all coming in his rearview mirror. Didn't panic though. Now we got Manuel in 5th, defending to Reese.
Yeah, it's a pretty good battle between these 4 at the moment. It can be anyone's race right now. But Harry's doing pretty well at the moment, holding P2. David Santos P3 at the moment, but he's a good 9 seconds behind. So it looks like Harry's come up past a back marker there. So Andre's done pretty well now. So he was 19th
P3's
place.
into the pits. David Santos has pulled in. If he's had an incident, his car looks a bit rather damaged to the front.
This is it. So Louis back out on track. He's P17 at the moment, so he's got a lot of work to do now. So silly mistake, didn't put enough fuel in. He's lost him P2 because of that.
Our leader has also been into the pits as well, Poetic.
That's interesting.
So if a few others are unfueled here.
So yeah, so David's now going into the pits as well. So this is interesting. So I'm guessing the guys maybe changing their setups, I suppose. Well, it looks like David's actually had a big accident if you look at his the front bumper there. So this is tables are turned now. So Nick's now up to P2. Harry's holding P1 as the leader's just gone into the pits. And
this has really changed things up. We weren't expecting this.
No, that's it. We wasn't.
There's still over half an hour to go.
This is
This is plenty of time left to see these guys make their way back up. They may have made a few changes in there as well to suit them for the colder conditions.
Well, this is it. Yeah. So like I said, you know, they might be changing tyre pressures and stuff. You know, a quick change of tyres. You know, to take him into the second part of the race. As I said, the temperatures will drop. So this is where, you know, this could be important time that they've lost in the pits now will be gained in the night.
For sure.
So yeah, this has definitely surprised us as well. So track temps now matching the ambient temp, 29 degrees. Harry is currently holding P1.
That was 5 seconds.
So Hampus is closing the gap on Emmanuel now. So Emmanuel is in P4 at the moment. He was P7 earlier, but since a couple of people pitted, obviously you said the whole grid sort of shifted up a few places. So this is a chance for so Emmanuel's made a few mistakes earlier, so I don't know if he's got any damage in his car, but Hampus is now obviously putting the pressure on him. Yeah, I think you might be right there, Jimmy. So this could be really interesting. I mean, maybe it was the plan.
Like all the drivers have now got their lights on.
Depending on pace, yeah. So yeah, obviously depending on engine map as well and stuff. So yeah, so Louis pitting early, it might bring him back up into a podium spot, possibly, if everyone else has to pit at some point.
Yeah, that's interesting. Keep an eye on that and see how far he can make it back up the pack.
We sure will. That's right. So, because obviously, like I said, when
transitioning into night.
Yeah, exactly. So when it obviously does go night, you know, people are going to start missing their brake markers. More accidents are going to happen, and this is when it's really going to sort of make a big change.
Don't think the guy's more confidence will be able to keep the same pace up.
Yeah, so the original leader.
Yeah, Chris is making good progress.
Yeah, I'm guessing, like you said, he would have maybe planned to, you know, to have a pit stop midway, you know. We really don't know at the moment. Unfortunately,
and he's gained 2 seconds alone on Reese in P6.
Yeah, I'm on board with these guys at the moment. So Reese is starting to close the door on Hampus now. So it looks like Hampus has dropped back from Emmanuel. But I'm just looking at the previous leader there, who's in P7 and behind at the moment. So he's slowly closing that gap. So he could eventually come back up and grab that P1, especially with his current pace at the moment and holding the fastest lap of the race.
We are halfway through, keep pushing.
So just at the halfway mark now. Starting to turn dark, so this is where it's going to start to get very interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting. James is saying that he doesn't think the Lambo would make it in one tank. It's something maybe some of the guys didn't realise.
This is
some of them may have planned for it. They may have also planned then to change the setup as well, to benefit them for the colder temperature.
Exactly, yeah, because like I said, it's thrown me off because I did originally plan for the race to start at 10 AM and finish about 8 PM in the game time, but it's obviously decided to carry on from the start of practice and stick with that time all the way through.
Yeah, it's going to still continue to keep getting colder, so interesting to see how that affects some drivers. Some drivers might find it easier to adapt it to changing conditions.
Yeah, so Poretti, he's closing that gap on Reese now. So like I say, he's got the pace. So he was originally the leader, but he's pitted. So he's definitely going to start putting the pressure on Reese in a minute. As you see, he's made some big progress so far, closing that the gap up.
Yeah, he was over 5 seconds behind only 3 or 4 laps ago.
This is it, so he's definitely got the pace here. He knows how to race this car on this track. So this is really going to mix things up in a minute, because Reese is trying to attack, but he's going to have to defend as well.
Yeah, he wants to see if he can get this move done.
This is it, so
yeah, the
Reese
great
has got the
exit
inside
from
line here,
Parabolica.
so Reese is trying to grab P4, but Hambers takes the inside line still, and Hambers still holds P4. So some awesome driving by Hampus there in P4. So these guys are having an awesome battle now between them. So they come down to the second chicane. Reese now manages to grab P4, so Reese manages to get past Hampus.
Managed to make it stick this time.
This is it, so looks like Harry's gone into the pits. Nick Steely's now holding P1 at the moment. Bucassi's in P2, Emmanuel is P3 at the moment. Hampus is P5 and Reese is P. That's right, my board's just decided to update. It just threw me off. I was looking at the time again. It's the broadcasting API I'm using. It's not keeping up with the on-screen, so do excuse me. So I'll try and get.
It's like Poretti's gearing up for a pass, possibly down to Parabolica.
Yeah, this is it. This is getting interesting now. So
he's made it.
He's managed to take the lead there off Hampus. So that was some pretty awesome racing there. Stayed on the inside there, nice and tight, and managed to get that overtake done with minimal effort. So yeah, so Poretti's doing pretty well so far. So goes to show from his pit stop, he jumped back from P7, is now at P5. He's got 25 minutes to catch up the leaders. I mean, it's more than likely going to be a chance that he's going to end up getting back into P1 if the guys in front do end up pitting. So I guess this is all down to strategy, whether they're going to start fuel saving or not, the guys that are running holding the podiums at the moment.
He's about 25 seconds off Nick Dealey in first place. So it depends what sort of lap times Nick could run if he did decide to turn the map down slightly.
This is it, yeah. So, so James in chat there says his driving's really jerky, like he's racing with a controller. You never know. He could be racing with a keyboard.
That myself.
He could be a keyboard racer. You don't know.
I did wonder this while watching him during qualifying with his steering inputs.
Yeah, this is it. Be interesting to know if he's obviously racing in cockpit as well.
Yes, that's not something you usually see controller drivers do.
That's it. So he's putting the pressure now on Reese, but he's coming down into the last corner. So he's got the inside line, so Reese has no choice but to allow him to pass. So Poretti's now managed to get P4.
To favour that place, he does quite well. He gets a good drive from Mascari to pass there, because most drivers we've seen passing from Parabolica down to turn 1, but he's getting the pass done before that. It's all in the toe back, but he's always managed to get a good exit from the last, keep hold of the position.
This is it. He's definitely got the consistency, hasn't he? If you look,
he has for sure.
He's very very good into the corners, mid-corner, and very fast on the exit. So he's obviously doing well. He's obviously spent a lot of time practicing with this car and this track to get the times he's getting at the moment. So just
interesting to see what sort of times he does now. He's gotten a bit of free air and how quick he tracked down P4, P3 even.
That's it. So Diego is. So it looks like Mark Brown is in front, who's the back marker, getting flashed there. So Diego's wanting to get past, but not really the safest place to pass at the moment. So not too much going on at the moment. It's sort of quieted down at the moment. The gaps are about about 1+ seconds in some places. But Peretti he's just trying to work out the time to P1. Try and get you sort of an information to see roughly. So where is P1 at the moment?
Let's say they're about 25 seconds. These sort of P4, P5 guys are about 25 seconds off Nick Dealey.
Yeah, so you're literally looking at it now. It's about 12 seconds actually looking at now. So there's 12 seconds between Peretti and Nick Dealey. So if Nick Dealey does go in for a pit, then there is chance that Peretti is definitely going to end up getting a pole here.
Yeah, with that time gap now, I would definitely say it's tempting to feel. But if he notices that gap coming down as much as it is, he might decide it's best to pit and go back for it.
Yeah, so I'm just going to jump on board just to take a bit of advice from... wrong button there. So yeah, as you can see, this is definitely he's definitely using a controller because the way that steering wheel's flicking there. So I think you're right there, James. I mean, the way that wheel's flicking around so much is probably using keyboard, because that is definitely not a natural movement with a steering wheel. So Andre's now up to P14 at the moment, so unfortunately he had a really bad start, which dropped him back down to P19. So he's slowly working his way up the pack. So David Santos, he took a pit stop. He's now P13 at the moment. So I think these guys are sort of waiting on the front runners to have a pit stop to hopefully get the positions they were earlier on before their pits.
Yeah, Harry Gould also in P11. They haven't been able to quite make the progress that Peretti had.
So Peretti's just overtaken Emmanuel there, so he's really really closing the gap there, because he was a few seconds behind Emmanuel, but he seems to be absolutely storming ahead. So Emmanuel just had a moment, did he? Unfortunately didn't see that bit, so that's probably why he's closed that gap pretty fast. Because yeah, if you look at the relatives, he's still just over 11 seconds off Nick Dealey, who's pole at the moment. So
Yeah, I've just been watching Nick for the last couple of laps. He's doing a very good job out front, keeping it nice and neat and controlled.
Yeah. Yeah, like I say, he's been very composed in this race. You know, he's not been aggressive at all. He's waited for his moments, you know, timed them right, and got himself all the way up to the position. Okay, we speak. The position he's in at the moment.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to know what his fuel situation is at the minute.
So John Preacher's now P9, so he's not doing too bad. I say he's P9. As John's just shot off wide there, he's now P10. Nico's holding P8 at the moment, but there's 7.7 seconds between him and Diego up in front. Hampus is now pretty much running on his own at the moment, so there's 5 seconds between him and Emmanuel. So it's back to Louis. He had to pit early because he didn't have enough fuel, but as a few people have had to pit. It might change in the next 17 minutes. It all depends if the front runners do end up pitting, or whether their whole strategy was to save fuel from the beginning.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. I mean, Nick's still doing 1 minute 50s now, and his last lap was mere hundredths off his fastest lap, so it wouldn't suggest that he's saving fuel.
No, he's doing pretty well, isn't he? He's like I said, he's been very composed and holding his position and holding his consistency well.
I suppose we'll find out over across the next 16 minutes.
Absolutely. So track temps are down to 26 now, so 8 degrees change from the start of the race.
Looks like Peretti's reeled Manuel in. You could see a change for P2 coming on the cards over the next few laps.
Yeah, it looks like he's made a bit of a mistake there, and
taking advantage of that.
He sure did, didn't he? So Peretti's now managed to get up to P2, so forcing Picassi to make a bit of a mistake there.
Now, what's with the current lap times that Peretti is about a second a lap faster than Nick, with 15 minutes still to go and under 10-second gap, we could see him still retake the lead towards the end of the.
This is
if he can keep that pace up, he's still got a chance to win this.
This is it. So yeah, it all depends on, like I said, if Nick needs to pit or not. Is there any way to tell how much fuel he's got on board?
I've had a fuel
Because you did say
amount
you on
here, but unfortunately that has shown that they've got 20 litres on board all race. So I believe that's not working currently.
That's a shame. If we had the
Yes,
live data,
it's a
it'd
little
obviously give us more information then, would it? To so, you know, see how much fuel they got, then sort of work out when they're going to sort of have to pit.
The rest of the hub is working okay. It's nice just to be able to see what level of ABS and TC they're running, brake bias. So we can tell you a little bit about their setup.
Yeah, go for it. It's a little bit quiet at the moment. There's not too much going on. But it looks like Hampus is now going into the pits. So he's pitting for fuel by the looks of it.
Some may have a lot smoother, more efficient driving style, which alone can help them with their fuel over a long race. Peretti, for example, is running quite a low TC compared to some of the other drivers, which means he may use more fuel.
This is it. So Peretti's now managed to close nearly 4 seconds on Nick Dealey already.
Yeah, Nick Dealey's last lap was 1:51.2, so it wasn't quite as quick as the last 3 or 4 laps.
Yeah, because Peretti at the moment...
He's trying to conserve more fuel.
Yeah, Peretti's last lap was a 1:49.8. So he's definitely a good second, 1.3 seconds faster a lap at the moment. So, but I said, if Nick doesn't have to pit, if Nick's just saving fuel, then he could potentially still take P2. Because I said that gap is slowly closing between him and Peretti and P2. So David Santos in P10 at the moment, but as I said, he pitted, so he's got a lot of work to do to get himself back up, in the hope obviously that some of the other guys do end up pitting. So Louis still holding P15, so again he pitted very early. He was P2 earlier on, but he had to pit for fuel, so it cost him quite a lot of time. But I guess only time will tell if these guys will be having to pit with like Nick Dealey, for example. So,
yeah, I think some may have chose to leave it towards the end of the race.
Yeah, so Picassi's doing pretty well, holding P3 at the moment, so he hasn't got too much to worry about. He's a good 5 seconds between him with the car in front and car behind. So same with Reese, again he's got quite a big gap between him as well, between 4 to 5 seconds from the car in front and behind him. So unfortunately it's all sort of spread out at the moment, so I guess we're just literally waiting on to see if anyone actually pits, which is obviously going to change things. So
Dave Santos in P10 has been sort of slowly reeling in Taylor in P9. I see a little bit of action there the coming few laps.
So this is going to get interesting because so Peretti's definitely closing the gap now. Look, now down to 5.7 seconds behind Nick Dealey. It was 7.4 earlier, so he's definitely on for the chase.
It's a case of time, really.
This is it, yeah. So, I mean, if he's managed to gain 6 seconds in 10 minutes, the chances are he's going to gain these other 6 seconds to get pole. So, and again, it all depends on Nick if he's actually fuel saving at the moment to complete the race. So Nick
he might not have anything to fight back with.
So he's just dropped into pits. John Preacher's in the pits as well. So this is going to start to change around a bit. So I see Louis in the chat saying this didn't work out, but it might work out for you in a minute, mate, if everyone starts to pit now. So thanks for the follow there, mate. Really appreciate that.
Looks like Dave Santos made the pass on Taylor. He's managed to get P9. Been slowly making his way back up the grid after his pit stop.
Absolutely. So yeah, so he's now P8 actually, because a couple of guys are in the pits. So he's actually managed to gain another position from that. So David Santos did pit earlier, so as I said, he's slowly closing or making his way back up the grid. So like I said, it all depends on the front runners. If Nick Dealey does have to pit, and you've got Reese as well, and Picassi needs to pit, I mean, this will all change. So, I mean, Emmanuel, we didn't pit, did he, either? So we've got Emmanuel who might be pitting at some point, so he's P5. So again, literally, we could have the top 4 or 5 people running, going into the pits. But who was that? That's just made a mistake there.
Paul.
I couldn't catch who that was then. He made the mistake there at T1, spun himself around, unfortunately.
Holcina, the P17 that was.
Was that P17, was it?
That was.
It could well be, yeah. You might be right there.
Nick still managing to... He did manage to post his fastest lap on the last lap. So he's still finding lap time.
He is, yeah. So yeah, Peretti has managed to now get up to 4.5 seconds behind Nick Dealey. So again, he's gained another second, and there's only 8 minutes to go. So it could be possible. Like I said, unfortunately, we don't know how much fuel Nick Dealey's got, so we don't know if he's got to make a last-minute pit. So it looks like Louis now up to P13. Nico's just come out the pits. Andre's now up to P11, so again he had a bit of a bad mistake. So mad. Yeah, tell me about it. This race has been completely mad. So Andre's, like I said, he had a bad start at the start of the race. Unfortunately, he had to drop back to the back of the pack, and he's starting slowly making his way up now, P11 at the moment. So he's having a bit of a good comeback. So not much going on really at the moment. So Reese is holding P4 still. So again, we don't know if Reese needs to pit as well. So as I said, this could all change in the next 7 minutes. So again with Diego, he hasn't pitted yet either. So it all depends if all these guys are actually fuel saving, which will then give them the final positions that they're in at the moment. Because it doesn't look like there'll be many overtakes right now. So I guess we're all relying on the pit stops.
Could see a massive change in the last few minutes.
This is it. This is it. Unfortunately, if we had the information of how much fuel they got, then we could obviously know instead of guessing.
Unfortunately, though, I think even if Nick did have the fuel, as well as he has been doing, I don't think he's quite had the pace of Peretti today. Though he's done a brilliant job from where he started on the where he started in qualifying.
This is it. So Australian controllers. I take it you must be Hampus then, are you? I presume. If you are, then I don't know what's happened. No, pit stop isn't mandatory, so. That issue, yeah. I guess if you wasn't in, if you got automatic pit limiter and you wasn't in first gear, then you will get done for speeding in the pits, if that's what you mean by a penalty.
Yes, a few people have fallen prey to that. I myself included in that.
That's it. So make sure you're in first gear before you reach the pit gate, so that you're on the limiter. Because if you're in second gear, you will shoot over it. So again, not much going on, unfortunately. So times are all over the place at the moment. But Peretti is closing that gap on Nick Dealey now, so it's now down to 2.7 seconds. So again, if Nick Dealey can hold himself and defend well for the next 5 minutes, then chances are Nick's going to keep and hold pole. But from what we can see here, Peretti is a good second a lap faster than Nick at the moment, so that makes me think that Nick is fuel saving.
But being a second a lap faster doesn't mean you'll naturally be able to pass them. Nick Dealey's a good racer, so
this is it. Yeah, so yeah,
interesting to see if he can actually hold him up.
Exactly, and this is where Nick's if Peretti does manage to close that gap and get on to be able to attack Nick, then Nick is going to be defending hard, you know, to keep that position.
Thing is, he won't have to defend for long. That's one advantage he's going to have. Peretti's not going to have many laps to get the pass done.
That's it. So yeah, James reckons there'll be about 3 laps left. So if we jump on board with Nick at the moment, we work this out. So Nick's just gone over the line. And if you're averaging about 150 a lap at the moment, you could quite possibly see, like I said, 3 laps. So I guess it's all down to Nick if he wants to slow down before the start-finish line, but then he could end up losing his position to Peretti, who's really closing that gap. And obviously, again, it all depends on fuel, so he needs to work out. I mean, if he's only running on fumes now, you know, he's got to decide if he can actually go for 3 laps. That's another thing. Unfortunately, we don't know that information. It's a bit of a shame there, Hampus. Unfortunately, I think the game is strict there with the track rules. You know, fair enough if we did try to slow down going through T1, but yeah, not much I can do that, I'm afraid.
Looks like about another half second this lap as well.
Oh, who's that? Has just gone into the wall. So one driver's just gone in the wall there. Was that Marcus? That might be a Marcus. P11 has just gone into the wall, I believe.
I mean, Nick is trying his hardest. He set his personal best of the race with a 150.1. Trying to keep Peretti at bay for as long as he can.
This is it, yeah. So we're just down board with Nick then for a minute. So if he carries on with his pace, then there's definitely going to be another lap looking at the time and where they are now on track as they come down to the second chicane.
Oh, it's going to be a back marker. It's not what Nick wants. Hopefully he'll catch him on the straight.
This is it, yeah. So this is not what he wants right now, because if you see the gap is closing there, it's only down to a second now between him and Peretti at the moment. Yeah, I think you're right there, James. I think it's going to come down to the last corner.
And Peretti's had good success down to the last turn. He seems to get a very good exit off his Scary chicane.
This is it, yeah. He's very quick down this the last corner, isn't he?
Yes, indeed.
So this is where Nick needs to keep it cool, stay composed. So, but Nick is obviously very composed in that corner as well.
So he's obviously saved enough fuel then.
Looks like he has, yeah. So they're coming for the last lap then, by the looks of it. So there's just under a second between them at the moment. So this is going to be a very interesting last lap between these two guys, because we definitely know that Peretti wants this P1. He wants pole. And Nick's obviously worked very hard to hold on to pole. So this is where it's going to be interesting, because they've got back Marco, who's only 2 seconds ahead, but it is Andre who's in front, and Andre's not really a slow guy. He just had a bit of a bad race, so this shouldn't slow him down too much. Nick's
actually managed to open the gap up. He was 0.7 going down the last turn, and he's now 1.3, so he smells the victory here, I think. He's pushing on hard.
He sure is, yeah. So, yeah, as G
deserves it from where he's come.
Yeah, G Interested said in the chat here, yeah, come on, Dealey, you know, he must win this. So, yeah, we're all rooting for Dealey here. So, they come down through Ascari. But there's a good second between them at the moment.
I think if he gets a good exit here, I think he's going to have it.
This is it, but like we said, we know that Peretti is very fast in the last corner.
Yeah.
So Nick Dealey needs to keep composed. If you look, he's closing that gap now. He's already 2 temps off at the moment.
It's not enough though.
But Nick's, yeah, that's it.
On
Nick's being
turn
very
for Nick.
composed here.
And he's done it.
This is it. Absolutely awesome
What a
race by
great job.
Nick. Absolutely well done there, mate.
Is finished.
So Nick Dealey managed to take pole. Peretti managed to take P2. So absolutely awesome race, especially from Peretti there, who ended up pitting. Was back near the middle of the pack, had to fight through, and come near the last lap, he was only moments away from Nick Dealey to take pole off him. So awesome race there. So Cassie's now managed to get P3, so he's just flashing over the line. Manuel's just taken P4. Diego's just coming around the last corner for P5 now. So yeah, welcome guys. Thanks for the follow there as well. So Diego's just managed to take P5 there. Harry's coming around the last corner to take P6 by the looks of it. I don't think there's going to be much change on the standings at the moment because there's not much close racing going on between the other guys at the moment. There's a good sort of few seconds between them. So congratulations to Harry getting P6 here. Reese has just come over the finish line for P7, so he put up a really good race. David Santos has just taken P8. Ray Taylor's just coming around the glass corner now to take P9, with Andre just behind him. So well done Ray for taking P9 there. Andre's just coming over the finish line for P10. Nico's got a fair way to go at the moment, but looks like he's holding P11.
It'll be interesting to see afterwards why some of the drivers and some of them.
Oh, well, unfortunately we couldn't get the standing. So this is again, I've spoken to Kunos and said, you know, there's issues here with that not showing a final standing board. Yeah, they need to do that at the end of the race. There's no point just going straight back to practice and no one seeing a final standing board. But anyway, we managed to cover most of the guys that ended up finishing. I did put standing board up just before that moment, but yeah, they definitely need to fix this problem because it's no good to us as commentators. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that race. It was definitely interesting for us right across the race there. These cars are definitely a challenge to drive, and you have to be very gentle with your inputs with these cars. So some really awesome racing there. So yeah, I'll be back again on Sunday. I'll be live about 4:45 PM UK time because I'll be streaming the Race Room Esports WTCR event, championship. So yeah, that'll be myself. It'll be actually Server 2 will be streaming because Race Room will be doing the official server, Server 1. So yeah, do check us out on that, guys. So obviously don't forget to obviously like, follow, subscribe. So we are streaming to both platforms, YouTube and Twitch. Otherwise, have a good night, and we'll see you Sunday. Thank you. Cheers.
See you later, guys.
See you later.